Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, a show dedicated to all things watches, with a special love for microbrands and their affordable range. I'm your host Praka, and some of you might know me as Kinda Average Watches. Join me as we explore new releases, share tips on building your collection, and put in some overtime with hands-on reviews of the latest watches. Whether you're a bit of a pro or you're just getting into the hobby, this podcast will keep you entertained with great stories from the people in the industry, casual conversations, and guest hosts who bring their own unique perspectives. Let's get started. Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, proudly sponsored by Watchpoint. That's right. What if I end up clipping that and putting that in? Sorry. How you going, James?
Oh, I'm very good. Sorry, I was just mocking Procker there because I knew what he was about to say.
Yeah, well, it's not like I say it every single episode, but yeah.
It's the way you say it as well, and welcome to Overtime, the podcast, proudly sponsored by Watchpoint.
I did.
It feels like one of those 90s ads or something on TV, where those movie theme things where they're going next on, coming in 2025 is.
That's where I got my inspiration from, actually. And I was just like, it needs to sound professional, it needs to sound good. It's an ad, it's a sponsorship thing. I need to say it properly. I can't just, have it different every time. So, yeah, that's what I went with. Anyway, how's things? How's things?
Very, very good. Very, very good. I'm excited to do this episode because I got a new tech toy to help with these episodes, a new microphone, which I've been texting you about nonstop because I thought, what am I going to get? And then I thought, I know somebody who knows a bit about podcast microphones, the guy that I do a podcast with.
No, I'm glad you contacted me about that. I mean, to be honest, what you're using was pretty good. I didn't really notice it being, not as good for podcasting or whatever it is, but I think you're quite a bit of an upgrade now, what you've got now.
I think so. I bought this gaming headphone set with an inbuilt microphone, and it really was a relatively cheap thing. And it was more because I was just doing the very odd occasional pop up on somebody's live video, and it was more of I just needed something for that. But since we're going to be doing this more regularly now, I thought it might have been worth a little bit of an upgrade to a proper, is it a cathode microphone podcast thing? I don't even know.
Cardioid, yeah, I think it's called cardioid mic. Which is, the Audio Technicas. They're very good. They're very solid. So I've been using it since the podcast start. Mine's a bit outdated. The one I tried to link to, James was like, they don't sell mine anymore. Well, get the newer version. So that's what he did. So awesome. No, it's good. It's nice to get little upgrades. I think I spoke about my little upgrade as well, which is the camera, but I didn't.
Yes.
Didn't set it up for this episode because this episode wasn't even supposed to happen today. This was very much let's try out James' mic, set it up, and then call it a day. But we figured, hey, why not use this opportunity to record something?
Whilst we're here, let's chat watches. And then we started talking watches anyway, so might as well talk watches more and record.
Exactly. Awesome. All right. Well, what's on your wrist, mate?
I am one of my favourite watches in my collection. It's what I call as my neo-vintage IWC Spitfire. It's the Mark 16 Spitfire. It's that silver dial. It's not what I sort of think of when I think of a pilot watch normally from IWC. It's a bit different. It's got a couple of different dial textures in silver. It's got applied markers and numbers. It's like a pilot watch that has details.
Yeah.
And I love it.
No, it's such a cool watch. I think I saw it a little while back, one of the RedBar events, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And from the outset, looking at it, it's like a silver dialed field watch, silver hand, so everything's very silver. So you don't expect a lot of depth, but once you see it close, you're like, oh wow, okay, this has got depth to it for sure.
So it's a watch that I like to take photos at an angle. When you get the watches, you put it at an angle, you get the camera at an angle to try and capture the layers. It's one of those, and I tend to post a bit of that on my Instagram because it's just in the right light. Wow.
Yeah. No. Actually, you did send me a photo before, didn't you? That angle?
I did, yeah. Yeah. I was actually outside. Went for a walk and had the black cockatoos out.
Nice.
And I took a photo of them, and I thought, I'll just take a photo of my watch while I'm here.
Yeah.
What are you wearing, Procker?
I am wearing the Hz.02 Chronograph from Hz watches. I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before, but, just a great chronograph, great size, 37 mil, VK64, don't have to worry about automatic chronograph servicing stuff, a mixture of titanium cased, but a titanium and steel beads of rice bracelet. It's fantastic. Micro adjust. And just really well built, and it just looks a treat, and it's supporting Australian microbrands. So yeah, shout out to Matt HZ, just an awesome watch. Thank you again for this watch. We'll never forget this, which was a nice gift when I went into Watchpoint. Yeah, very, very grateful for this, and quite sentimental now in the collection. And it's so easy to wear. So yeah, had to pick it up. Actually, it's my second watch that I wore today.
I'm up to 4. But speaking of Matt from HZ, we talk about microbrands a lot, and one of the reasons why we're like, you could have this enthusiastic watch chat with the owners. Wow, Matt is a nice guy. Like, he's such a nice guy. Like, I'm going to go to Melbourne a little bit later this year. I really want to make some more travel watch videos for my YouTube channel, and I thought Melbourne's a good place. It's not too far away. It's across the country from us, but we probably should do something within Australia. And I want to go to Watchpoint because you keep talking about Watchpoint. And to be honest, Melbourne is the place within Australia for watches. So I reached out to Matt, and yeah, he's rolling out the red carpet for me. It's going to be amazing. And he didn't have to do that. All I wanted was like, can I possibly just film in your store? But it's going to be awesome. And he's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the subliminal messaging, or not so subliminal messaging, worked. And I'm glad it did, because, he deserves it. He deserves all that support to go and check it out. He's done a lot to, get it off the ground running and to where it is now. Melbourne in itself, in that space, in that stretch in Collins Street, is insane. The amount of watch shops around there, all the big brands, all the micros, Time and Tide, you name it. I mean, it has everything in that sort of stretch. So it's definitely a great spot to go if you love watches and you want to go and spend some time and go check out some watches. Yeah, Perth is slowly coming up. I feel it's got a couple of little.
It's getting better. We've got an Omega boutique now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It would be nice to have, they had Granbergs. Remember Granbergs, which was it was a smaller shop. They sold like Laco, Seiko, a few other brands I can't remember off the top of my head. They were pretty good. They were in the city, and they also sold like knives and stuff like that, like other things, not EDC, but they were selling other stuff. Yeah, and it was great.
I don't think I remember that one.
Yeah, no, it was.
I'd love to see a bigger sort of vintagey kind of shop. I know we've sort of got one which does some sort of higher end stuff, and there's some cool things on secondhand watches, but I'd love to see like a bigger version of that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if we've got the population over here to justify it.
No, yeah, definitely. I don't think we do. But I mean, look, Frederick Kronstadt, that's right. They go, yeah, they had quite a lot, and it was in the city. It was great. But now they're in O'Connor. Okay.
They're in O'Connor.
Yeah.
All right. We might have to go for an outing to O'Connor.
Let's do it. I'm keen. Yeah. No, so O'Connor's like a bit, not exactly the middle of the CBD. It's about half an hour away, but in sort of an industrial area, Bibra Lake, O'Connor. But yeah, anyway, bit of a segue.
Perth doesn't really have, well, we've definitely got a CBD, of course, and a lot of stuff in there, but we're a little bit more decentralized with that stuff. There's a lot of those big shopping centers, which feels like a lot of our stuff has moved to that. You don't really go into the CBD too often.
No, you
They're
don't
trying
have
to bring people back in, and there are some stuff in there, but like I rarely, like the only time I really go in is if we're catching up for lunch or something. I make the trip in since you're working there anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Let's do that. Cool. Let's chat. So, kind of put James on the spot. I've kind of put myself on the spot, really. I wanted to do this Q&A episode since the back end of last year. It was sort of going to be the closeout of 25, introduction to 26 Q&A. I just never got around to it. Had a few other episodes overlapped. Life got in the way. Anyway, never really got to it. However, I thought, hey, why don't we just do this Q&A episode, James and I together? Like, why not? Let's I'll read the question out and both of us will answer it. And then I thought, why don't we just do that, but make it even more difficult? And both of us not plan for these questions, and James hasn't even seen these questions. I at least have them in front of me, but James hasn't even seen them. So you know what? I thought let's just give that a go. So firstly, got to thank the Overtime the podcast crew. So this is a broadcast channel on Instagram that I made, I'm going to say about 6 months ago, if not more. Probably more than that now. Didn't really know how broadcast channels worked, but figured it out. I interact from time to time there, and it's great. And I'm loving the responses, and I'm loving all these questions as well. So thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, basically, majority of the questions are coming from there. And yeah, I'll also read out their Instagram handles as well. So maybe you can go check out their Instagrams. All right, are you ready?
I am virtually ready. I'm sort of thinking it through, and I think I'll just take it as it comes. I think I like doing things off the cuff. I'm one of those people that when I'm approaching something, I try to have information behind me, but I like to also just give it a go.
Yeah, when these Q&As, sometimes like if it's like a list type stuff, I do like looking at a couple of things because sometimes I forget, but a lot of these questions aren't so much of a list type. They're just sort of general questions. So I'll start off with this one. Okay. I think this is a good one to start off with. Question is, any tips that you can give to newbies, like some common mistakes to avoid, or, what should look for when I first start into the game? Thanks to KSW89 for that question.
I think that comes straight to my mind is try not to buy too many watches within a short period of time. Although that is a positive as well, because sometimes you can then figure out what you like within a shorter period of time. But I say that because I know if I buy too many at once within a short period of time, I don't give each individual watch enough of that attention. And I end up buying a couple that I end up only wearing one. And really, I should like all of them and wear all of them. But yeah, there's no rush. However, there's also you're probably going to do that and then probably end up selling some. And that's pretty normal. I think we all do that. But try and space out the purchases a little bit. Get one in and actually appreciate it and actually wear it a little bit, then get the next one in, rather than buy. And when I say a lot at once, I mean like go and order 5 and then wait for them all to arrive.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's what comes to my mind straight away.
That's a very good tip. I'll sort of echo that in some ways. I think it's a great thing that you said about, not going too hard, too fast, buying a bunch of watches and then being overwhelmed. I have heard this in the past from other people who say, don't spend a lot of money. So don't spend money buying lots of cheaper, affordable watches, but save up for the one that you really want. But I'm going to go ahead and say the opposite. I think when you first start off, you want to take it slow in terms of the money that you're spending on these watches, because at that time, especially if you're someone who's like, okay, I'm a collector. So I'm not talking about someone who's buying one watch and they're done, right? This is not who this answer is targeted towards. This is targeted towards watch collectors or newbie to the game who would like to collect watches. Buy the cheaper watches, the different styles, enjoy them or not enjoy them. And then you buy a Timex chronograph for like $80. Yes, it's brass, but then you kind of figure out, do I like chronographs? Do I like that kind of style? Do I want to keep it? And then you might decide that's not your thing, and then you might move on and you might get a diver. I don't know, go buy an Orient Kamasu, $200. And you're like, this is my next step up. I went from 80 to 200. Well, I'm loving this one, dive watches. Maybe that's what I'm at. So, and then you might go try a Garda watch, and then you go, all right, I'm going to buy a Seiko Dress KX, the SRPE range. I can pick one up, from Shields on sale for $280. That's Shields is a local jeweler. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that's how you figure out your style. You figure out what you want to wear, what you don't want to wear. Is you spend that money, it's still, don't get me wrong, it's still a lot of money, especially for someone who's not been in this game, been in watches. I was exactly the same. I spent like $80 on a Timex and I was like, oh my God, I spent $80 on a watch. What am I doing? And prior to that, I never bought watches. I did, but not for like collecting. And then I bought the 5KX, so the newer SKXs that weren't really SKXs because they weren't 200 meter ISO rated. That cost me like, I think, 250 Australian dollars. That was a lot of money for me to spend on a watch, right? I was like, oh man, this is a lot of money. But then I loved it. And I thought, I do like these things called divers, dive style watch. And then that's when I slowly learned and then, sold it. And anyway, all I'm trying to say here is don't listen to the people that say you want the Explorer, you go get Explorer. Fine. Maybe people who have experienced watches can do that. They already know that. But when you're a newbie, I don't know, say you've seen a Speedmaster and that's what you wanted. And then you buy the Speedmaster and then you're like, oh man, like this is great, but I spent $8,000, $9,000 on this watch. And I don't know if I quite get that feeling that this is exactly what I want. It's an expensive mistake.
You miss out on experiences as well. To me, it feels a bit like traveling. It's like you going straight to the most luxury hotel room on the planet. Well, that's nice, but it's actually kind of nice to be the backpacker occasionally, and then move up to you got your own room kind of thing, and then you move up to I've got air conditioning now. And when I think back about my like travel memories and things, I have these fond memories of roughing it a little bit. And same with watches, I have fond memories of affordable watches, and the thing is, I still love affordable watches. I've got $5,000 watches, but I still wear my $100 watches. So I don't think it's even jumping ahead. Like, it's finding the watches that you like, and some of them just happen to be $100.
Yeah, no, it's great. So yeah, that's some good tips there. I think for newbies, and yeah, don't go. You've said it. Don't go too hard, too fast. Like you can spend a lot of money very quickly. Don't do that. My neighbor across the road. Sorry, if you're listening, I got him into watches again, like got him into it. He was kind of into it ages ago and then didn't. And he caught the bug and he bought like, I don't know, 5 watches in like a space a couple of weeks.
It's easy to do. You do get caught up and a little bit excited, and because I think the collecting and the hunt then takes over. It's not specifically the watch, because you're not getting excited about 5 watches in a week. You're suddenly getting excited about, I could buy that. I could buy that.
Yeah, and it is fun. It is fun. The hunt is great. The thrill of the hunt, it's fantastic. Yeah, that's half the thing.
Like, I like separating them out a little bit. Of course, they overlap, but I like to make sure I appreciate and love the watch. But I also then like to appreciate and enjoy the hunt. And I'm aware that they are 2 different things. They just happen to overlap because it's watches.
Yep. Cool. I think that topic in itself can go on forever. We might revisit that again later in another episode. I'm sure we can do something like that, another newbie topic or whatever. But let's get on to the next question.
Although I still feel like a newbie in this sometimes. Although probably am compared to a lot of people, to be honest.
I know, exactly. Some people collecting viz. I'm only in single digits still. Not even a decade yet of collecting. Where are we? Okay, it's a good one. What's the best thing about the watch community and the worst thing?
It might actually be the same thing. I think the best thing is the people get passionate and they love this shared interest, and that you can make friends and people interact, and then on the flip side, people are passionate and disagree with you and think you're doing the wrong thing and have a bit of a snobby perspective to it. And it's not even a snobby perspective to it. If somebody likes high-end watches and they look down on cheap watches, that actually doesn't bother me much. It's kind of when people lock onto an opinion, and it's an opinion, but then they get all snobby about their opinion. And it's like, well, you can have your opinion, but opinion's not fact. It's your opinion. We're allowed to have different opinions. I think maybe it's a broader subject there, but yeah, I think I like the shared passion, but the shared passion can also then diverge into different aspects and opinions of that passion.
Yeah, I think passionate people sometimes tend to be like that, don't they? It can come out in 2 ways. Yeah, I thought this is a great question. I had a giggle when I wrote this down. I think, like, again, it's going to sound like I'm just echoing everything you're saying, but I think there's a reason why we connected is because we have a lot of shared common ways in looking at these kind of things. I think the watch community is definitely very passionate. It's also in many ways, there's a lot of people that love to come together to, especially sort of this microbrand and affordable range. I find they'll go to bat for their chosen, brand, or for the style or whatever it is. They're very, and a lot of them are very generous as well with that passion. I see it in the local forums that we're part of. There's a lot of knowledge being shared, sometimes unsolicited, but, just information and knowledge being shared, and even stuff like giveaways. And I'm not talking about influencer giveaways. I'm talking about just everyday people just saying, hey, look, I've got these couple of straps, or I've got this. Does anyone want it? They're just sharing the passion, sharing the love to people. And I think that's the best part of this community. Like, you can make friends very easily because you can find like-minded individuals who like watches, who like the passion behind the watches, and then eventually, you just become friends with people. What starts off as something to do with a shared passion for this lump of steel in your hand, it just becomes into other things, and you just chat about other stuff. So I think that's the best thing about the watch community. The worst thing, probably not going to say the passion. I think the worst thing is, and I think this is across any hobby, not just watch community, I guess the money making, or the profiteering behind this, or the manipulation, that side of things.
To manipulate a passion into a
hustle, or whatever you want to call it. And that's fine. Like some people need to hustle and everything else, and I get that. But there's maliciousness behind some of this.
Do you think that is the sort of a normal thing that does happen in any hobby? Or do you think, because I think a little bit, and good or bad, people really are passionate about it, and then there's this drive to like, I love this. How can I make this more of my life? And obviously then make it a job or profit from it. Or do you think that's a little bit of it? Or do you think it's just a human nature thing?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not knocking anyone trying to make money out of this. I mean, let's be honest, like, I think it would be a bit rich if, obviously this podcast, guys, I don't make anything. So I'm just saying, but yes, I'm being sponsored, and yes, I talk to people who watches, and, gifts and that kind of stuff. So it's a bit rich if I come out and say, yeah, and same with YouTube and everything else. That's not really the what I'm trying to get. I'm more talking about, predatory sort of manipulation and stuff like that in the background about this. And
there's probably a power behind it then. I think I don't think it's so much the money side of things. I think it's a power thing, which what those sort of things come to us. And so I know what you're talking about. Because it does initially feel like, they're just trying to make a profit out of it, but it's not. It's this power thing. And that's when it becomes
it's a bit icky. Power and a bit of manipulation and things like that, and almost, like you say, trying to take advantage of the best things about the watch community, which I've definitely felt over the years. And it's a bit sad, to be honest, but the good thing is that's only a very small percentage of the people.
It is. It's a very small. Like I can say, even in my comments in my videos, 99 out of all of them are lovely messages, and it's amazing. It's actually amazing how positive some of them are, like almost too positive. It's so nice. But then there's always that one slightly negative, which I just try to see the passion behind it. But it happens.
It can happen,
especially because this is an online thing as well. Because it's so shared via the internet, people tend to
hide
say
behind
things
anonymity.
I think that's pretty well known.
Yeah, for sure. But I've probably butchered that entire worst thing portion of it, but I just think that majority of the people are fantastic, passionate people, and share their passion. It's great to see. I can't fault that at all. Okay, let's move on. This is a good one. What are some strategies and tips to save up for a watch?
I like having a dedicated watch budget, and it is such a good thing for quite a few different reasons. And I initially built up a little bit of a budget by selling some stuff around the house. Literally, I was like, I can't take any money from my savings to put towards buying watches. So I looked around, and I had a few things I'd bought over the years, little collectibles or things. And I literally thought, that's not being utilized at the moment. So I use that, built a little budget, and then I decided I'm happy to put $20 a week into it, which is not much, but it was enough to keep it a little topped up. And then I realized, and also then discovered, like, if I sell a watch, that money goes back into the budget. Firstly, it gives you some money to actually buy a watch that you like. But more than that, I think it gives you freedom to buy things that you might not otherwise do because you're trying to justify the purchase. If you've got money and it is for watches and nothing else, you actually might end up buying stuff that you might not buy if you're pulling it from your savings account. And I know I've definitely done this, and I've ended up being freer to buy things that I may not have bought for myself. And I've ended up with some great stuff. It's kind of like when you have a holiday fund or something. A lot of people do it for different things. Like, you might not go on that holiday that you should go on because you're taking it out of your savings account. But if you've got a holiday fund, well, you get to go on a holiday every year and you know exactly how much you could spend. And I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. And actually last year I got rid of my watch budget because I was trying to rearrange things, and it was the worst thing I did last year. So I've reinstated it for this year.
Very nice. Very good. No, they're great tips. Pretty much did very similar thing to what you did. When I first started, I had old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Yu-Gi-Oh collectibles cards, which I just found in a folio, and I was like, oh, this I haven't seen these in years. Anyway, it turns out I had watches that were worth some money. So one of the cards sold for $200, and then
Nice.
yeah, exactly. And there was
That's
a couple.
psycho.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it all started. The watch fund started just for me
selling
bits around the house.
I had toys from 1980s, which I didn't actually, which I sort of grew up with and then disappeared. But then I rebought them like in the early thousands. And by the time I actually went and sold them to do my fund, they like tripled in value. So it was this bunch of basically 80s toys, which was, I went through that little moment of reminiscing, and then they end up in a drawer. So they funded my watch budget.
Nice. Yeah. So I think that's a great way. If there's hobbies that you have in the past that you don't really do anymore, yeah, take it and start selling stuff. Like, I think across the road, he sold a guitar and that funded his watch. He sold, stuff like that. Just, or I don't know, maybe you have a weekend job or something like that. And you think, hey, I'm going to put away an hour of my wage of one of the days into the fund, whatever it is, small, big, just something, but don't go into your savings. I'm very much the same as that. Don't go into your life, whatever you need to run your life. If you need to start getting loans to buy a watch, you don't need that watch.
Oh, no, and you don't need that.
You don't need it. You honestly, we're in a very privileged hobby. Like, no one actually needs a watch. I think we say it a lot as well.
You're saying I don't need my 20 watches?
Exactly. You only need 18, but you don't need.
My wife keeps saying to me, you can only wear one at a time. And I'll say, well, I'll show you. I can wear two.
But
although I am only wearing one tonight.
I know, I was going to say, yeah, you didn't do your double wristing thing, but I did.
Hang on a second. I do have like 4 watches right next to me. Actually, no, I've got 5 watches right next to me.
I didn't expect any.
And you don't even look behind me.
But that's a great
What was the question again?
What are strategies and tips to save for a watch? So I think, yeah, sell some stuff that you've got around the house, or things that you don't touch anymore, or dedicate having or a kidney. A dedicated watch fund definitely is a must, especially if you could have it in a high savings account. It's quite nice to have little bit growing every month. It's 4% per annum, whatever it is in your country. It's something's better than nothing. Let it grow. And then
I know I've also done like the occasional little bit of overtime where it was an optional overtime, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. And I thought, well, actually, I'll put that in the watch fund, so I'll do that 2 hours or whatever it was. Little things you can do.
Little tips and tricks to do that. Definitely don't get into loans or get into deficits, or go and put it on Afterpay or one of those. Yeah, don't do that. It's not worth it. You're
better off with $100 Timex than a loan for a watch.
Exactly, definitely.
I think you'll appreciate it more as well. And
yeah, it's your hard work.
I don't know how I'd feel about having a watch that had a loan on it. I think I'd feel like a slave to it.
Yeah,
there'd be a negative connotation attached to it as well. Like the excitement would be taken away from it, because I'll be like, I'm still having to pay for this. And it's costing me more than it should have because I'm now paying interest.
A lot of jewelry shops do have that like latitude or whatever the after, basically like a buy now pay later sort of thing, which I think again is predatory. If I'm being honest, it's trying to be predatory towards people's emotions because they want the thing and they go, well, you can just walk away with it.
They make more money out of that as well. Like last time I bought a car, I paid cash for it, and they did not like me paying cash for it. They wanted me to get a loan with them because I think that's where they made the money.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, I think this is not financial advice, so I must just say I don't want to be sued.
We are not a financial channel. Any thing that is said, even slightly, you should be checking with a financial advisor or your local accountant.
I should write that down in a card and just read that out. I said.
So some of those channels and things, they've got this disclaimer. They're covering their ass. So whatever those other channels say that covers their ass, that's just insert here.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah. Cool. Where are we now, timing wise? Okay. Maybe we can split this up because there's quite a bit of questions. So maybe we won't do all the questions today, but I think those ones are pretty good.
Maybe just a couple more.
Yeah. Okay. This one's a good one. It's sort of following on from the watch community stuff. Would you recommend local RedBars? If so, why? I find elements of watch community click little exclusionary, especially for those new to the community. So firstly, before I get you to give me your answer, James, I'm sorry that that's happened to you, that you have felt that way, that this sort of community clicky and that you feel that it's excluding new members. Yeah, that's not okay. That's not nice. It's definitely a way to lose new members very quickly. Shame. But at the same time, I'm not completely surprised. This kind of stuff does happen, especially if a lot of the people in that group know each other for a long time. New people coming in can be a bit of a struggle. I think that happens across any community. So yeah, it will be a bit hard. But there's always someone out there in that community that you will be able to level with. And James had a really good story about the first time I met James in RedBar and just sort of walked up to James and said, hey, there you go. Here's all my watches or something along those lines. And then we just started chatting.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Out came the watch roll.
So I think it also depends on the type of person you are, of course, whether you want to be more open or whether you don't really feel like opening yourself up and you're hoping someone else comes. So it is easy for me to say, yeah, go be like that. I am quite open and extroverted. I'm happy to go up and start talking to anyone, but I guess it can be hard for some people as well. So yeah, I don't know what else I can sort of add to that to make things a bit more sort of icebreakery, but definitely give it another go. And I'm sure you will find one or two people in there who will be willing to talk to you about that. But James, would you recommend local RedBars and such?
I definitely do from my own experiences with our local chapter of RedBar. But something which I think is worth speaking about, firstly, is what is RedBar? Because not everyone's going to understand what a RedBar is.
Okay.
RedBar is an international watch social group, which are different chapters around the world. But what I've sort of learned more recently is it's actually not that formal. Like anybody can kind of start a local chapter. Mostly it's watch enthusiasts will obviously have some association with somebody that has a little bit of a grasp of the entirety of RedBar because you're using their name. But it's really just a local enthusiast who's decided to start a social group and do it under the umbrella of RedBar. I've been listening to another podcast recently and he started his local chapter, the guy that is on that podcast.
Yeah.
And you sort of just turn up and you feel a bit awkward and people are nice and they want to talk watches, but it's also not just watches. It's what I've noticed from what I asked our RedBar as well, and they will all be a little bit different depending on who's running them. Is firstly, it's nice. Ours has generally there's a theme to each social occasion. There's something that is, so it's not just go and just have a drink and talk. Sometimes it is, but it's often there's something else going on. Whereas it's like a photography lesson, or if it's a look at vintage watches things or something. But it's also quite social. It's not just watch until I met you, of course. But it was nice because it's like a social thing that has a watch undertone.
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah.
So, and sorry, and one more I should say before I forget, because I was thinking in the back of my mind when you were talking. If you're part of a Red Bar and somebody turns up new, go speak to them. Don't let them have to stare blatantly and wide-eyed. You go to them. I'm going to say, I think when I met you, it was the second time I went to a Red Bar. The first time it was our friend Eddie. He came up to me and he did exactly that. He came and says, "Hi, how are you? My name's Eddie." And he showed me his tutor and like, yeah, so that was really nice. And I had a few people that night do that. So then the next time I went, when I met you, I felt much more comfortable. And
Yeah.
And then you just rolled out the watch roll.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Red Bar is, our experience is Red Bar is very good. I think initially when Red Bar sort of started in our chapter, the very first event was, I'm going to go ahead and say it was not as inviting as what I would have liked it to have been. But I think that was because everyone was just coming in and you had different types of people there and different types of collectors. And I think everyone was sort of just finding their feet. What is this? Where are we? Trying to feel each other out. That made sense. Just trying to see where things are. And I felt, the interesting thing, or the second part of the question, which was, I find watch community click little exclusionary. So I'm not sure whether that's experience with not a Red Bar, might be something else, because I have been to other watch sort of collecting little groups in which we do have here. And also I can see the pockets of that and how that might be clicky. But I think there's a general theme that I've heard from people overseas, like you said, like you mentioned the person in the podcast who runs their own Red Bar chapter, and also other Red Bar chapters in the UK as well. I've heard they're very much an open, any watches you've got on, it's cool. We're not, you come and you have to have a Rolex or an AP. No, it's like whatever you got on, cool. You like watches, you can come and chat and we can just hang out, and it's a place for people to speak and people to, make friends and whatnot. So I think that's great. But like I said, on the flip side, I have heard some things with other Red Bar chapters, not going to name them, that aren't very inclusive or want to let other people in. They're very much like, we didn't even know but like a lot of people I've spoken to in that city basically said, we didn't even know Red Bar existed here. And even if we tried to reach out, we tried to be and hardly got a message back or a sniff back, or, it was locked in. It was very much like, nah, this is all there is. And we're not getting any bigger or not letting any new people in and stuff. So it definitely can be exclusionary as well. So I think it doesn't even have to be a Red Bar. You can,
it doesn't have to be
there's watch collectors groups everywhere. I mean, go to Watch Crunch, for example. Watch Crunch is the platform that they have a section in the platform where it's like watch meetups. So you can put in your city and you can actually find meetups in there. There's local forums. Like, for example, we've got the Australian Affordable Watch Forum. And I'm pretty sure they've done like hey, Melbourne people, let's catch up, or hey, Sydney people, let's still catch up. And then there's a thing that starts up. We haven't really done one in Perth before, not best of my knowledge anyway. So
Red Bar turning up.
Exactly, which for Red Bar turning up. So yeah, it could be that. You could go to watch shows in your place. It could be, we don't really have a lot of watch shows here, but there's sort of smaller sort of grassroots stuff. You might meet some people there, and then you sort of go from there. So this hobby, I think initially when I started off as well, was very much, I was just sat there with me and my best mate, and we were just watching Teddy Baldassar. That was it. That was it.
That's a little bit sad, really.
That was it.
I could just imagine in a dark room.
Yeah, that was actually it was actually awesome. Like, we learnt so much, and it was great. It was like we're just, oh my god, Seiko 5KX, or an Orient Kamasu, and I was like, the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was fantastic. It was like, I don't know, it felt great to just be able to do something like that, even with a mate, and I think finding,
it's nice to share an interest.
Exactly. So finding someone to share an interest is great. So to answer your question, yes, recommend local Red Bars. Hopefully your Red Bar, wherever you live, is as inclusive and as, welcoming. But if not, I'm sure there definitely is a way to catch up with the watch people. If you're into microbrand and independent watches, which you clearly are as you're listening to this podcast, you gotta check out Watchpoint. Watchpoint is the newest destination in Melbourne, Australia for microbrand and independent watches. But it's more than just a brick and mortar store, it's a hub for watch enthusiasts. Come check out brands such as Hz, Bazel, Second Hour, RZE, and Montbray, and other exciting watches you won't find anywhere else. Watchpoint is also your go-to website for buying said watches, exploring microbrand profiles, discovering new releases, and staying informed with editorials, industry insights, and buying guides. So if you're keen on trying out your favorite microbrand watches, drop into Shop 304, Level 3, the Block Arcade on Collins Street, or visit watchpoint.com.au or check them out on Instagram at watchpoint.au for more.
What's next?
What's next? All right. Jeez.
One more? Let's do one.
One more? Okay. This is a good one. Okay. If you could pick one microbrand and that to say that they've fallen off, they used to be great, but not so much anymore, which brand would that be? This one's a tough one. I'm ending it off with a tough one and potentially a controversial one as well.
Think of a couple that have stalled a little bit, like they haven't produced more watches, but I don't think they've fallen off. I just think it's life's happened as well, and I wouldn't want to specifically point them out. I know I've also I think, have a popular model and then they just sit on that model a little bit. And for one reason or another, I think a lot of the time it's not because they're sitting on the model, it's because it's a secondary hobby job on the side and it's not.
I won't.
Yeah, you go first. I think you might have to go first. I might have to think about this one.
I was going to say, I won't put you on, I know, James, you've got a YouTube channel, we've got a lot of brands that you work with, so I don't really want to, put you to where else. I'm happy to come out and say Zelos. There's a reason why, though. It's not to say that they've gotten worse in quality or anything. If anything, I feel like their quality is fantastic. They do some great stuff. But for me, Zelos and what made them great was how special they were, because they were the brand they were the microbrand, the microbrand that was making cool colored divers with great dials, different materials, all in a very affordable package. And you had an owner who was fantastic, customer service response, and you had this cult following, for better or worse. But I feel like as the watch microbrand world and even the greater watch world has evolved, they haven't as much. And I guess I'm talking more about their basic stuff, as in their stuff which is more entry level. Yes, they've got stuff like, $2,500-3,000 tantalum Sky Raiders and all that, which are cool, right? Don't get me wrong, but I can't link Zelos with that, if that makes sense. For me, Zelos is still very much that, these cool divers, and they did them really well. Your Mako, your Swordfish, all the Zeloses that you used to get, and you still can get. Yeah. So I just can't, for me, it's like if you're spending $2.5K USD on that watch, you could buy a Tudor, you could buy a Zenith, even, a little bit more, you could buy a Belcanto from Swiss Reward. So all these, you can get very different stuff as well. So yeah, that's not the reason why I think they're falling off. I just think that as a general, when the market has sort of moved on to different things and different sort of trends or I feel like they're just not as special anymore as what they used to be. And it's not, I'm not saying they've fallen off as in, they're bad now or whatever. Far from it. I still think they do fantastic watches, but I just don't think they're just that special anymore for me, which is a bit sad.
They were sort of the brand that always pushed the boundaries.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how many boundaries you can push. Maybe they've just sort of reached the limit of pushing the boundaries, because dials and materials, and because I think they're fantastic. But it's funny because I've had a few and they're not watches that I think would stay in my collection, just because I think they're more they look pretty in my watch box versus me actually put on, but that's just me and my style. It's not the watches themselves. But interestingly enough, I got hands on with the very first Zelos the other day, number one.
Which one was that?
And the quality, it was a Hammerhead or something, but it was just their very, very, very first one, whatever it was. And the quality difference of that versus today's is so different. The first one really felt like a $100 AliExpress watch, But at the time it didn't, of course, because it was quite a while. It was a game changer back then. But it's amazing to have seen the change and how good they are now, and even other brands as well. It's not just them, but it's amazing. 10 years ago, something that came out like that was amazing, and it's super basic now.
Yeah, it's still good, but it's just feels oversaturated. And again, maybe I'm being harsh on Zelos. Maybe it's not Zelos, it's the market in general. There's a lot out there.
Definitely a lot of saturation now.
Yeah, it's an oversaturation.
Good and bad, that is.
Yeah, there's so much you could. I mean, look at the Hammerhead, fantastic looking diver. $530 for the Hammerhead titanium granite. Now, $530 can get you quite a lot of stuff, other watches, other brands. There's a lot of different things, various styles, you name it. I just think that they've sort of reached a point of like, we've done everything now. What else? And I think maybe they don't have to do anything more. Maybe that's it. They just keep doing what they're doing, and they have they pretty much sell out every release they do anyway. So who cares what I say about them?
Well, I know. I was super tempted by their last release. Oh, it came so close. But they'll have that thought of, I think it looks pretty, but I might not wear it.
The Helica, yeah, definitely cool. Definitely cool looking watch. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't have that same feeling as I do when looking at a Zelos now. And that's not, I think a lot of it is not really their fault. I think it's just the market's moved on. So anyway, a little bit sad, but hey, tell me what you think about that. Come at me, whatever. Tell me why I'm wrong, because I would love to know. Tell me why.
I'm unsubscribing because he said something bad about a brand I like.
Well, that's fine.
It's okay.
It's okay. We can agree
we're
to
chatting.
disagree.
We're talking.
That's right. We can agree to disagree, and
And I know you like Zelos, so it's you're not even being negative towards Zelos.
No, I actually I like the brand. I like the stuff. I just Anyway, this is my. I had to give an answer.
No. I think we need to be able to talk about things in different perspectives and play the devil's advocate and throw out different opinions, because if you don't do that, you may never challenge your opinions, and then you may never change your opinions. Not that you should change your opinions, but sometimes you should.
Yes. No, I
know I play this game with myself now, especially with watches. I try to challenge my opinions just to see whether they're still the right ones for me or not.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely good. And like I said, let me know what you think about that answer.
I think from that question itself, I think there's a lot of brands that have stalled a little bit because they haven't been able to keep up with all the new releases. And I completely understand, because they're small brands or they're individuals and things. When you see some of these microbrands come out of the gate and they're just model after model after model, it's actually quite amazing when you see that, because it almost shocks me sometimes. There's a couple of brands that have been coming out that are just model after model after model. And this is not a micro brand. They've actually started a proper brand, and it's quite amazing. And I feel a little bit sorry for smaller brands that can't do that, because there is such a saturation.
Yep.
Yet there's still some lovely watches, and there's just I think as a consumer we're pretty lucky, because we've now got all these options.
We are very lucky. We're in that age, and I just realized I may have sounded pretty hypocritical on what I said. I mean, one of my favorite watches of all time is my Helios Seaforth, and Helios is a brand that literally moves at a snail's pace. They and very much their designs and everything is still in that era of there's many options out there if you want something very similar or even very different or whatever for the money, but I still like them, so sorry. So maybe someone will say that.
I'd hate all the brands to be doing exactly the same thing as well, and I don't mean about the same watches, but if they just all had the same business model and they all were releasing watches at the same time. And it's nice to have a brand that just has one really solid model and another brand that releases models every 2 months. We've got the options. It's probably good. If there was only one option, I think I'd be disappointed.
Yes, I agree. All right. I think let's leave it there. Let's do pick this up another time when we do it again, because there's still a couple more. I didn't answer 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. So pretty much another whole episode of Q&As again. Let's save that for another one. Let's do something interesting section. Have you got anything interesting to share? I have one. I can start if you'd like me to.
You go. I think I've got one, but
cool.
You go first.
All right. I saw this again as I'm scrolling on Instagram. So this is a phone case by a company called Chronomade, and it's called the Escapement Horology phone case. So I've sent you the link in chat. You can have a look. Can you see that? If you go studio chat, it's in there.
I'm now
All right,
getting taught how
technical.
to use this tool. I didn't know there was going to be a lesson.
Sorry, when we were setting.
Chat. My camera is literally in front of the chat thing.
Well, let me tell you about this. It's a phone case with a full working movement on the back of the phone case, and you can wind it, and there's the escapement and gears and everything, and you see it, and because it's massive, it's much bigger than what a normal one would be. It's so cool. It's like when I saw this, it is amazing. And the best part is it's not usually when some of this sort of novelty stuff, it's usually only for iPhones, I found, but it's also for the Galaxy range as well. So hooray for people like me. And it's just so cool. I'm just stunned by it. You can see videos on it. Of course, put a link in the show notes. You can check out how it works, and there's an FAQ as well. I mean, the only thing that I was like a little bit disappointed about was when you wind the movement, apparently there's like a little crown. You get this little crown, you can actually turn the movement. It only lasts for about 30 seconds because it's, think about it. So it's not like a full day of, thing running. It's like you turn it on when you want to show it to someone and you're like, well, look how cool this is. And then it sort of does out. But
I can see there's 3 minutes of fun there.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of fun, something to show. And yeah, I think this is, and it's also got MagSafe as well for people that use that on this thing. So, which is kind of cool, but I also wonder how the magnets affect the movement. So maybe it doesn't. Anyway, I don't know how it works, but hey, it says it's got MagSafe attachments as well. Yeah, which is kind of cool. So you can still do all your wireless charging, etc., even with this thing in the back, which is awesome. And it is of course, I need to say the price. It's
$275.
$275
USD or?
That's USD. So $275 USD. So it's not cheap. But what I thought was cool was that if you've upgraded I think there's actually a way that you can send it back. And yeah, that's it. What happens if I get a new phone? Every Chronomade case comes with a phone upgrade guarantee, which means you can get 2 free replacements for new phone models in the future. That's pretty cool. So
that is pretty cool because that's a big issue with these kind of
novelty
cases.
Sort of cases. It is currently on pre-order, but I have seen working stuff on Instagram of people that own it. So not company given or sponsored stuff. Someone actually owns it and put it up, which is where I found it initially. So yeah, there's iPhone, 17, 16, 15, 14, Samsung S25, 24, 23. So yeah, it's got a big range. Pretty cool. Definitely cool. Go check it out. I'll leave the link in the show notes. What's yours? Something interesting.
The new Predator movie. Have you seen the brand new one?
Nope.
I watched it the other day. It's the brand Badlands, I think it's called, and it was okay. It's not going to win any Oscars, but it was fun to watch. I like those sort of movies. But what I found really interesting about it was virtually the exact opposite of the very first original Predator movie. Because
is there a spoiler? Is there a spoiler alert? Should we say spoiler alert?
No, it's not a spoiler alert. It's the original Predator movie. The Predator was kind of he was obviously a big character of the movie, but you never saw him. He was always there was like that thriller. He was there, but he wasn't there. Then he was invisible, and he's killing you, and you don't see him. Then right at the end, it's almost like, oh, there he is. Whereas this new one, he's the main character, and the entire movie is him. So it felt like the exact opposite of the first movie. It was like they took away all the mystery and all the suspense. They took away all the sort of, he might be around the corner. And it's like, no, he's just the main character of this entire movie. And it felt weird knowing the first movie so well. It was one of my earlier favorite ones when I was a kid. Just how opposite it was. Because all the sort of the Alien Predator movies, they're kind of it's got that suspense and tenseness to it, and none of that because it was an action movie. Because
There was no
There
thriller. It wasn't a
bad guy.
thriller.
The bad guy was the character. It was just interesting just how opposite it was to what I kind of expected. I guess it's been going a bit more that way with the newer movies, but
Yeah, interesting.
so
Interesting. I didn't.
and from the first moment, he's the main character.
Okay, interesting. No, I haven't seen it yet. I've got to check it out. But what I will say is the best part of any of the Alien or Predator movies, of all the ones, is the suspense, the thrill of, they're just around the corner or they pop out and they get you and whatever. That's the best thing I think about Alien vs Predator, that whole franchise. So yeah, I mean, like
It's
you
not
say,
that
it's a
at
good
all.
movie.
It's literally just an action movie, full CGI. I doubt there were. I don't even think the guy was real. He was probably some dude with dots on him, being filmed. But it was fun, and it was
Interesting. 7.3 out of 10. I mean, it must
Really?
be.
I wouldn't give it that. I got through it. And it was I enjoyed it, but it was.
That's funny. I wouldn't give it that.
The best thing about the Predator line of movies is that scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger grabs his mate and they show off their biceps. That's the best part about the Predator franchise.
Oh, it's such a classic movie. I need to go watch the Alien and Predator movies again. They were so much fun. I love the computer games as well. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, same thing. You're walking along and then you just see something scutter and you're just like, oh crap. And then this thing just jumps at you and you're just like, yeah. So anyway, I love it. Cool. No, that's a great one. I like it. Pop culture. So I chucked it in. All right. I think that's it. This was, again, a very much last minute. We didn't even meant to record today, but we did it anyway kind of episode. So hope you all enjoyed it.
My microphone worked out well. Let me know how I sound, people. Leave a comment saying, yes, he sounds much better, or he got ripped off by buying that microphone.
Yeah.
Or he needs a pop filter now.
Maybe pop filter. Maybe, who knows? We'll see. We'll see how we.
Or maybe the person editing this should do a better job, Brucker.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what? Yeah. All right. Well, look, there's nothing else. We'll leave it right there. Cheers. Thank you for listening to Overtime the Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on our Instagram at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, or flick me an email on overtimethepod@gmail.com. I appreciate your support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics that you would like the podcast to cover in the future, please hit us up. Until next time.